Hey, this is Asha. Thanks for joining me in this video. And what I want to share with you today is really the context behind doctor versus plumber and who earns more. And I'll share with you some thoughts behind, hey, how they can be neck and neck even and how one person can get ahead of the other. So stay tuned. I'm going to open up your eyes a little bit to this concept. All right, so before we get started, I do want to remind you to check out some of the freebies that we have on our website at MyLittleNestEgg.com. So just go ahead, check that out. Go to the freebies section. There's a lot of PDFs and things that we continue to expand, grow, and we're going to have some mini courses here as well. Now, to kick things off, you probably are wondering, hey, doctor, plumber. Well, it depends on the doctor. It depends on the plumber. There's different certifications for both. You know, if you have a pediatrician versus a neurosurgeon versus a master plumber or a junior plumber, there's so many different types, right? But my point in you understanding this concept is just the way that money flows from one person to another. And sometimes some people go ahead and opt to go for a higher paying job like a doctor, but it takes much more time to go ahead and get there. For example, if you go ahead and look at becoming a doctor, let's just say a pediatrician, you're looking at about 10 years of schooling or beyond just high school. When you're looking to become a plumber, it just usually takes about 2 years. And then again, depending on state laws, every state is a little different. You also have to go ahead and shadow or be an apprentice there for a little bit of time. But you can be making money at that same time. Whereas with a doctor, hey, you're schooling. And yes, you may make a little bit more right when you get out, but there's a lot of schooling involved before you get there. So think of that time frame, that 10 extra years, you know, what you could be doing as a plumber as far as investing goes, as far as putting your money aside and building your nest egg. So check out this little graph here that I have, doctor versus plumber. To go ahead, an average plumber makes about $58,000 a year, okay? An average doctor, when we come to pediatrician, you're looking at $165,000 a year. So when you really look at it, you're almost at about 3 times. So that's a huge difference in spread. A 30-year income, just linearly, when we're looking at it, not accounting for inflation, you're looking for a plumber about 1.7 million, with a doctor here 4.9, almost 5 million. So it's quite a bit more. On a 5-year basis, you're looking at about 290,000 for a plumber, and for a doctor, 825,000. Again, that starts off slow and ramps up. 10-year basis, we're looking at 580 for the plumber. And I'll let you know why this is important. Because when it comes to being a doctor, it takes about 10 years. So if we look at your lifetime earnings, this is a typical approach or graph or curvature that you go through when you're a doctor versus a plumber. So in plumber, I have kind of a green line. So initially, you just kind of start at negative because it costs about $1,500 to get a plumber's license, go to school, that kind of thing. But $1,500 in 2 years, you're kind of out, and you're actually making money fairly quickly. So you go ahead and you're starting to make money in a kind of this linear fashion. Of course, you could get plumber certification, so that could bump you up and you continue at a little bit more accelerated pace. When it comes to a doctor, here's what's interesting is you start off initially, you're going to actually start dipping pretty quickly. And this is because you have the debt to becoming a doctor, usually medical school debt. If you're fortunate enough to have parents that can back you, or you can be working through school and you can actually pay it off right away, that's fantastic. If you're running a business, entrepreneurship, that kind of stuff, great. But this time frame that you have here, this is typically a 10-year period. So you're looking at an average cost to get your certification, your degree, your diploma, go through medical school, all that good stuff, about $300,000, you know, 270, 300,000, it's constantly changing. So you're looking to go ahead and put in 300,000. Now that'll dip you a little bit. And what's going to happen is it takes time to pay off that debt. So you're always going to have that lingering debt follow you behind. Now, if we're looking at the earnings, yes, your curvature is at much more accelerated pace. So this might be maybe at a 45 or a 60-degree curvature here. Whereas this curvature, if you're looking at the earnings and the progress of it, you might only have a 20-degree curvature here going. So it is at a slower pace when it comes to a plumber, but you're starting a lot sooner and you're making money sooner and you can invest that money sooner. So that 10 years that it takes to become a doctor, really maybe about 8, because the difference between a 2-year plumber versus a 10-year doctor, but you could still be working as a plumber. You're looking at about $580,000 jump start for the plumber. And that allows you to kind of invest that money. And if you start compounding it, 8% interest or 8% returns on investment, give or take, depending on if you buy real estate properties, that kind of thing. And also, of course, your lifestyle. There's many factors involved. My point is that even if you're a plumber and you compare it to being a doctor, you could still have a very good lifestyle, especially if you look at towards the end of the life. The difference net is not much different. The whole point behind this is start early, understand the trade, and of course invest. Because with a plumber, your big thing is you have time on your side and kind of no debt, because what's happened here is you've started working sooner and you've got no debt. Now, as a doctor, you're studying, so you're still putting the work in, but you're not earning. And you have debt, and you're not starting work right away. But your earning potential is much higher as you go, towards the later years of your life. And of course, being a plumber, your knees start to kind of hurt after a while, whereas with a doctor, it may or may not, depending on your work situation. Anyways, my point being is that the net difference at the end is very limited and small. So if you're kind of a plumber and hey, you wish you would have become a doctor, or vice versa, it's not much different as long as you're looking at investments, if you're looking at using your money properly, if you're not overspending, that kind of thing. The lifestyle and the earnings potential is still quite great with both of them. So it really comes down to a lot of factors. And I want to leave you with this one final joke and tidbit that, hey, a plumber came by to go ahead and repair a doctor's sink. After about 5 minutes of work, we went ahead, fixed the leak, and said, all right, that'll be $285. So I said, hey, you were just here for a handful of minutes. And he said, yeah, I'm a doctor and I don't even make that much per hour. And the plumber goes, yeah, I was a doctor too, and then I became a plumber. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. If you're brand new to the channel, go ahead, subscribe to the YouTube channel right here. Or if you want to join the newsletter list, click the link right over here. All right, thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.